welcome to Guitar Gear Gyan with me, Sahil Jagtiani, where we talk about all things related to the Indian guitar gear scene. Today I'm joined by Akhand, and we are going to be comparing the Boss DS1 with the Keeley MOD DS1. But before that, make sure you click that subscribe button and ring that bell to stay up to date with all our latest videos. So the DS1 pedal is probably one of the most loved or hated pedal of all time. Akhand, can you tell me a little bit more about the DS1?
So the DS1 has been one of the longest production Boss pedals in history. It was launched in the year 1978, and it was the first pedal which incorporated transistor and op-amp based circuit. The thing with the DS1 is, since it has been very affordable in terms of pricing, it is one of the most widely available Boss pedals out there, because of which a lot of the older recordings which have been done by popular artists have sold millions in records, right? So it's difficult to say if this pedal is a bad pedal, as a lot of people out there say it is. That's primarily because of there is a lot of top end harshness that is generally seen with the DS1. Because of which there are a lot of mods in the market which have come up in the due course of time, right?
Correct, yeah.
One of the most popular ones is the Keeley modded DS1s, which have flooded the market, I would say, in the early 2000s. So Robert Keeley got on the map by modding pedals, as most of you know, amongst other modders like Analog Man. So Analog Man started with modding pedals, and now they have a massive pedal company known for pedals like King of Tone and the Prince of Tone. And even Keeley Electronics in today's date is a very well-known company. They have stopped modding pedals entirely, but the Keeley modded DS1 is one of the most popular mods, and a lot of units done by Robert Keeley's old office are available, I would say, easily in the US and the UK markets. In India, not so much, because our market is very limited in terms of accessibility. Also, the analog market isn't as mature. But this happens to be one of the best mods out there. Are there between the
but
two
even
pedals.
if you look at JHS pedals, they also started off with primarily modding Boss pedals.
Yes.
I think the Boss framework has given birth to a lot of new pedal manufacturers.
That I completely agree with. So if you open up any of the Boss pedals, especially the DS1, and if you look at the circuitry, it's very easy to mod. It's very accessible. Everything is right there. Everything is labeled and numbered. So there are a lot of kits out there which are available. It is a great platform for new pedal modders to start off and get the hang of it, just to understand if it is a thing for them, if it's possible, because circuitry is very easy to read.
And how much do one of those mod kits cost?
So if you want specifically the Keeley DS1, the kit would set you back by probably $20 in the US.
Wow.
And it's available on Amazon, eBay, a lot of...
so how much would this pedal actually cost done
in
America?
The Keeley DS1 starts onwards from $100 and upwards, depending on the condition, year. So if you want an official Keeley modded DS1, there are a lot of them which are done by other players and DIYers at home. You can get those probably a little over the DS1. So DS1 goes for about $50, and you can get a home done DS1 Keeley mod for about $75. But if you want an official DS1
done,
you can expect to spend about $100 and upwards.
And this is $50, you said, right?
Yes. So the stock DS1 in itself is not a bad pedal per se.
I don't completely agree with that, but still, okay.
So I believe you just have to play around with the settings a bit and try to cut off that top end harshness, which works against the pedal. But what the mod really does is it takes all of that away, adds a lot of bottom boost, and makes it sound fuller and more pleasing to the ears.
We're going to find that out soon. It's not just lip service. We're going to check the pedals. So how we're going to check the pedals is very interesting today. They're both buffered, right? So in order to avoid any kind of buffering into buffering, what we're going to do is we're going to put it into a line selector and go with an A-B option. I'm going to play a riff into my looper pedal, and that same riff will basically go into both pedals. We'll fiddle around with the knobs and see basically how it responds to the riff and to the playing, and you make a decision for yourself whether or not it's worth it. I mean, if it's really going to make such a difference, I think it would be an interesting episode to maybe get you back on the show and maybe try and see if we can actually mod this DS1 into a Keeley mod using a simple kit. I'm using my Parker P42 and we're going into the Calor Force20. So let's get to it. So you've heard how both the pedals sound. Do you really think it's worth it to get a Keeley mod done on your DS1? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Okay, Akhand, final verdict. What do you think?
So I would say it's very easy to see why artists like Joe Satriani, Steve Vai, George Lynch, they are fans of the DS1, and specifically Steve Vai and Joe Satriani have used the Keeley DS1. In fact, Robert Keeley did modify some pedals for them specifically. You can definitely hear the difference in the bottom end, the top end harshness is gone, and I'm sure you will be able to see that as well. What do you think, Sahil? Could you hear the difference?
Tell me something about this all-seeing eye. I mean, the O in the tone becomes this little LED light, I think, right?
Right.
And the more you push the pedal, the light basically blinks.
So the difference between the stock DS1 and the Keeley DS1 is the all-seeing eye mod. The LED lights brighter when you strum harder. So depending on the intensity of your strum or your picking, it keeps on going on and off. Also, you have the ultra mode. So when you flick the switch down, it goes into a boosted mode, which you must have heard in the sound clippings. It's slightly compressed. So that sort of takes away from the fact what you're trying to do, right? You're trying to decrease the compression. So I believe personally, both our favorites has been the all-seeing eye mod in the default setting. But for someone who wants a little more mid boost, the ultra gain mode is available on the Keeley DS1 as well.
I actually also noticed something even in the ultra mode and in the all-seeing eye mode. The volume was louder on this pedal. There wasn't unity at 12 o'clock with both pedals.
Right.
This was far louder. I would say even 20-30% louder than this pedal. In both the modes.
I agree.
So yeah, that was a bit of a surprise. So in that sense, definitely, like you said, our personal favorites for the all-seeing eye mode, where it's rounding off the those sharp highs, basically the harsh highs as we call it. But yeah, I can definitely see where someone using a Marshall amp or using a high-end rig with maybe only a few pedals on board, they might benefit from the DS1. But personally, the modern player, I don't think would benefit from this kind of a pedal, because they're used to the ambient sounds. They're used to, like you said, the digital delays, digital reverbs. So this doesn't sort of like fit so well with that, the DS1.
So for a complicated high-end digital rig, it may not fit directly into the setup.
Yeah.
But for someone running a basic rig, someone who wants that raw sound, should be able to get great tones out of this box. Specifically, if you run it into a tube amp, a high wattage tube amp, single coil, Strats, Telecasters, Gibsons. Actives have mixed results, but you can definitely try it with an active set of pickups. But DS1s especially react really well to low output.
Yeah, I mean in the split coil mode of my P42, it was sounding nice as well. It had a more vintagey touch, as you could say, because of the lower output. But I like the humbucker mode as well. I thought the Keeley DS1 with the humbuckers were also good. I didn't think they were bad. My only thing is that there are pedals today, that do what the Keeley modded DS1 does in a far more how would I say, more musical sense. It gives you better tone, those pedals, and it doesn't cost so much, and it's not so much of a headache. I mean, if you're a fan of the DS1, like, I can understand how GHS pedals, I mean, because they grew up with these pedals. They were only Boss pedals, in those days. So I can understand where the sentimental value comes in. So they want to make the pedal which they grew up with, which they love, sound the best. But for a modern player, I think, you do have better options, let's be honest here.
Yes, have your amp at near breakup, not distorted, but near breakup, and then go from there.
I mean, that's exactly what Steve Vai did with, the TS9. I mean, the Tube Screamer. It's just basically pushing the amp more, so that you cross that point of breakup and you get a very sweet sounding amp, So yeah, excellent. Lot to learn. It's your personal preference whether or not you think the DS1 is for you. It's an iconic sound. It's a one of the world's best-selling pedals. Definitely, you should look at it, play with it once, have an open mind with it. I don't know if I would have it on my board, but definitely it's a good pedal to have in your arsenal to keep, for comparison. So I hope you enjoyed that episode today. Make sure you smash that like button and hit the subscribe button and ring the bell to stay up to date with all our latest videos. If you like what we're doing over here and you want to support us, become a patron today. My Patreon link is in the card above. Go there and subscribe right now. And above all else, keep on rocking.